Alrighty, folks, it is, gosh, it's Thursday night. It's about a week later. Last video was ugly. We'll talk about a couple things. And the only difference between that video and this video is probably my shirt because it's still ugly. So let me tell you what's, well, first of all, let me back up and clarify. You know, when you're doing your timing and you disconnect the vacuum, let me get my little, where's my little golf tee? There it is. I had disconnected it from here and plugged it, and I left a huge vacuum leak. You don't do this stuff when you're tired. I did it. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Anyway, you unplug it here and plug it here so your vacuum advance isn't working, which should only apply to the primaries, not the secondaries anyway. As far as the distributor, there was a question about that. So Mopar distributor, it's slotted, doesn't have that gear that sits down there and turns in there. That's that secondary thingamajigger we dealt with, that secondary rod that goes into the oil pump. So you got a slot. This thing can only be this way or 180 degrees this way. And when I set it up, I chose to put the number 1 over here, the rotor tip pointing here with the butt of it pointing towards number 1, which is when I set it at top dead center. We're on the compression stroke. Top dead center means all valves are closed, and that's where we set the distributor in. Theoretically, you could turn it 180 degrees at top dead center and put your number 1 plug here, and it would still work. It's not like a GM or a Ford where it goes in and twists in. That's what your secondary rod does. You got to make sure it's right first. Anyway, that's my understanding. I could still be wrong because I'm the guy that I left a massive vacuum leak when we were tuning it. So I got out here, I rechecked the timing. It likes it around 12 degrees before top dead center. I know OEM is 7.5, but that's with a 2-barrel, okay? And I guess theoretically, you're setting here running off the primary, so it is a 2-barrel, but this car has never liked 7.5, even on Hot Rod Power Tour. We tweaked it up to be between 10 and 12 and ran much better. All right, now what else is going on? So I tweaked the idle mixture. We'll do that again. I'll show you. Basically, these only apply to your primaries anyway, so when it's idling, I'll show you. We'll bust those down, let it stumble a little bit, move it out. And then I'm going to get you an overhead view, and I want you to tell me if you see fuel down there, because I think where we're struggling is fuel delivery. What I've got also, if we need to, and this will be through, where did I put that? Right here. This will be between today and tomorrow. But what we'll do is I'll get another piece of line. We'll put this in line. We'll run the vacuum gauge up there and close the hood without pinching it, and we're going to drive this thing, put it under pressure, put it under load, and see what our fuel pressure is. But what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to start this thing up. Got to have the fan on so it doesn't overheat. We'll mess with those idle mixture screws, and then I'm going to put you on the overhead. You tell me what you see. So let's give this thing a little starty. Okay. All right. It's just not running to me as smooth as it should be. So, you listen to the engine, and I didn't turn the fan on. Tell you what, let me do this, then I'll turn the fan on. We're going to take this in until it starts to stumble. There's about a half turn. There she started stumbling, so I'm going to come out another half turn. That's pretty much all you do. Let her stumble. Come on, stumble. There you go. And back her out, let her lean up a little bit. Oh, that's good. Now, let me turn the fan on. Where's that switch? There we go. Okay, fan's on so we don't overheat. Now, I'm going to put you over the car. I know this light, LED light, gives us a little false simplicity. Let's see what we see. There's the primary. All right. I'm gonna tell you what I'm not seeing is I'm not seeing fuel delivery to those secondaries. So basically, here, let me shut this off. Because I think that where are we on fuel? Where are we on fuel? Yeah, we're a little below, where's my finger? There we go. We're a little below quarter tank, so we're not too bad. Let me get that. Let me shut the fan off. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and pop this video on the computer so I can see it better. But you tell me. I'm gonna come back. It does not look like we're getting any fuel. The little squirter things called jets. I don't think we're getting fuel to those back ones. This may, you know, I bought this carb for like 300 bucks delivered, and I'm hoping I don't have to go buy a brand new carb just so I can make this little car show on Saturday morning. But if I do, I'm gonna buy like a 600 or 650, not the 750. But anyway, let me look at the video and we'll be right back. Alrighty, folks, you saw what I just saw, and there wasn't much fuel going through there. We're gonna do it one more time. I moved my, you can see I got my fancy, this is a Summit Racing light. Yeah, I got it at Lowe's and put a sticker on it. But anyway, had to get rid of that light. It was just flickering all over the place. So, you know what? Let's just get up. If I can get up in here without doggone killing myself. All right, bear with me. All right, so your primaries, let's see if we can see down in there. Right down in doggone there. You can see them. That's where that's where your primary fuel comes from, right there. And then back here, you can see should be coming in down through there. Those little brass jets. That's where your fuel ought to be coming through. And I'm just not seeing any fuel. But the question is, will it pull fuel when it's not under load? Well, we're still creating vacuum in this, even though, all right, so Edelbrock, AFB, aluminum 4-barrel. Call it vacuum secondary, but is it really? Because the throttles work mechanically. See, the throttle's open, the throttle's closed. It's this plate that's weighted, which to my knowledge here isn't connected to anything, okay? And what I've done, so we can see better, I'm gonna take, now I gotta do it with one hand, doggone. Anyway, doggone. Okay, y'all just bear with me a second here. I got this magnet and I'm holding that plate open, okay? That secondary vacuum plate is open. We ought to be spraying full fuel when I romp on this thing, even though it's not under load. Let's see what we got. Let's start her up. Oh, don't do it. Come on. There we go. Okay. All right, now let's look at these primaries again. They ought to be shooting doggone fuel. Now, turn her off. All right, I think we probably had a little better view there. I'm gonna go look at this video on the computer so I can look at it bigger too. If there's no fuel, if there's very little fuel coming out of the primaries and nothing coming out of the secondaries, then we're gonna pull this thing apart and see where the float is. Okay, be back soon. All right, folks, I just took the whole carb off. And oh yeah, by the way, this thing's still sitting in my garage. Okay, more on that later. Maybe not. All right, I'm gonna, you know what, never been into an Edelbrock. Done a couple different carbs on the channel. We did the Chrysler, the 2-barrel of the BBD, rebuilt that. We rebuilt that Ford Autolite 4300. It was a 4-barrel. This is all Honda stuff. Belongs to my son. So, nonetheless, let's just start. Let's see what we got. There was quite a bit of fuel. I dumped the fuel out of here. This screw is like really tight, which concerns me. Look at this. This is supposed to be a rebuilt carb, and I don't know if that's just cross-threaded in there or what, but it's nasty. I've disconnected all the throttle, the stuff. Disconnected the stuff. Let's get this popped apart here. Tell you what, I'd expect to see much cleaner screws on a rebuilt carburetor. But hey, who am I? Shade tree mechanic. That one looked pretty good. We're almost there. So my buddy Clyde, he told me I could bring the carb to his house and we'll slap his Edelbrock, I think it's a 600 on there, and see if it's indeed the carb. I think I'm kind of at that point where I think we've pretty much isolated the problem to the carb here. So that ought to be it. Let's see. I've never, oh, there's another Torx. I've never been in an Edelbrock. Let's see what we got. There we go. There's, oh, I should have taken the metering rod. Oh. I took off the clip, but there it went. I should have taken the metering rods out. And I can tell you that that's looking pretty good. Let's see, this came out of here. That's got to be the accelerator pump. That's supposed to be 7/16 gap, and that's looking pretty good. So, I wonder if I poured some fuel in here. We should be getting some squirting action if I put the accelerator pump down in there. I want to make sure I don't drop any balls. I don't think there's any balls in here. Let me check how tight these are. Okay. I don't know, guys. I just don't know. Jets. All right. Anyway, here's that secondary vacuum. Let me get you guys in here so you can see what I'm saying. So, is there anything? I mean, it looks clean. It looks clean. I mean, this looks good. Seal looks decent. There's just something not right here. So, okay. So here's what I am going to do. So here's the deal on the floats. These floats, when this is turned upside down, should be 7/16, and I'm going to tell you they look pretty dang close. Let me get a 7/16 drill bit, if I can find a 7/16 drill bit. That's not asking for much, is it? See if we got a 7/16 drill bit here. 7/16 drill bit. Let's see what we got here. 7/16 right here. Okay. So, how this is supposed to work is that you should be able to slide this up under here. It's a little low, but not too terribly bad. I mean, not enough to make us be having the problems we're having. See, that one fits perfectly. This one's a little low. So I'll tweak that one a little bit, but I don't think that's the problem. So, all right, I'm gonna stop there for now, do a little research, and we'll be back. See y'all soon. All right, Yuns. I'm close to calling it a night, but I'm not quite there. I took out, I guess these are the Venturis. These are your extra squirters and all that kind of good stuff. You know, I went in here into these jets. There's a jet down in there. I mean, we're getting, the jets aren't clogged up. I run out of brake, or correction, carb cleaner. I may have to go get some brake cleaner. Come on, you can do it. I think all I got is brake cleaner. Let me grab some. You guys will butcher me on this too, but you know what? That's all I got. It's late, it's dark outside, and that's what I'm doing. All right, let's try that one again. Yep, there we went. And then this jet down here, this is where your metering rod goes for your primaries. Okay, we're good there. Just wanted y'all kind of show you what I looked at. Everything was clean. I mean, it's obviously been rebuilt. Okay. So I checked all that. I made sure all these were clear. These were clear. Took them out. This can only go in one way. So there's no other way for that to go in. That's the way it is. And here's the other thing. I'll take out the metering rod when I put it back together. The only thing that I really see is that float is kind of exaggerated up this way. The examples I see that float would be more level. Your 7/16 drill bit is supposed to just when it meets the apex. So that one is significantly higher. We're going to have to adjust it down. And then on this side, let me get you set up here. Okay, on this side, we're not setting it super level. There we go. That's close enough. Come on. All right, anyway, you get the gist. And actually, this one here, actually, that one needs to come down a little bit. I may leave it right there though. Definitely this one over here is going to be falling. Get it back around here for you. This one may be starving fuel, which would be on this side of the carburetor. Everything's clear. So it ought to be pumping fuel. So I'm gonna adjust these. I'm gonna put this back together, put it back on the car, and see what it does after I adjust this one float. I just can't believe that would be the problem. But then I guess I'm gonna have to look at my fuel pressure. Maybe I'll hook up an electric pump directly to the carb off the fuel line and see if that makes a difference. We'll be back. All right, folks. Yuns, Friday night. The next night and it's still ugly, and I still got my ugly shirt on. So let me tell you what I just did. So I was doing a little research today, and first of all, I got my Summit racing light. Y'all know that's a joke, right? I hope so. Anyway, I'm not going to use that LED light because it flickers and ruins the video. So here's what I did. I was reading a little bit today, and they said disconnect the secondaries, and that's what I did right here. I disconnected this little rod right here, and they said that and it makes sense, if you can run on your primaries and everything accelerates and shifts okay, then it's the problems with your secondaries. Well, guess what? It fell flat on its face. So what's next? Well, first of all, I'm gonna go ahead, and I know the vacuum advance only applies to the primaries, but now I'm having this problem with just the primaries as well. So I'm gonna check the vacuum advance, with a little vacuum gun. We are going to figure out a way to get the gauge linked into the fuel line and look at that again. But I think before I do that, because here's the deal. When you put this on to measure the fuel, the pounds, it goes up. We'll check it out again, but then if you rev it up, it goes up some more. Then it stays there because it's got a lock on it. So if I drive it, if it builds up to 6.5, 7 pounds just at idle, and I'm losing that fuel pressure at high RPM, the gauge isn't going to show me because it's still holding that pressure in that gauge. So I got to figure that part out. But we're going to keep working on it. I'm going to double get Gabriel out here, I think, here in the car. I'm going to do that next. I'm going to jack it up. I'm going to get underneath. I'm going to double check the kickdown again. Make sure that's all looking good under there. And then I'm going to attack the vacuum advance and I think fuel pressure, because at this point, well, I can tell you what's going on at this point. If I can't figure this out tonight, there ain't no car show in the morning. That's all there is to it. I'm not going to take a car that's not running right, because that ain't right. My buddy Clyde, he's got that 600 or 650 Edelbrock on his 383 on his engine stand. I'll put it over there and we'll swap his carb on here and see if indeed it is a carb issue. So let me get this car jacked up. We'll be right back. All right, folks. Well, I realize I'm all alone. Okay. Hope I don't get crushed under this car. All right. Oh, here's what I did. Let me get back up here. I put a stick. Gas pedal is all the way depressed, and this assembly is all the way back. And when I get under here, y'all see the shifting, or not the shift linkage, but the kick down linkage. Let's see, you can see it's actually this one right up here, and there's actually more that can go back a little more. But the thing is, it's like this. It's supposed to be perpendicular to the block. It's a little too far back. I just don't see that being a problem. We can adjust that later if we need to. And I went to the book, to the manual, and through this whole procedure in the manual, which shows, you know, here's the lever on the transmission we're just looking at, and here's the linkage. It just tells you basically how to adjust it and everything, but the lever's levering. So we're going to move to the distributor, vacuum test, then the fuel system. I'll get the light moved up here, so I'll be right back. Okay, we got the little vacuum gauge hooked up here. I'm just going to kind of set you guys right here where you can see this vacuum, where you can see this. Now, let's see if I can do this with one hand. That's going to be the challenge. See if you watch this moving. See that moving? Then I release the pressure. Come on now. That's the vacuum pump. It's not reading it. Come on. There we go. We're moving. And we release it. Everything I think looks pretty good there. And let me show you. So this is just a little brake bleeder vacuum gun from Harbor Freight. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this. We'll get rid of that. Forgot I had that. That would help me bleed brakes if I'm by myself. We need to get this little part out. There we go. Now I want to show you this is also. You can put this in your mouth, and I hate saying it this way, just suck on it, but you'll see it. You can see it moving in there. So that looks to be actuating. So I want to throw this back in here for now. All right, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to go ahead for kicks. Here are my only two options left tonight. Before I exercise the final option, going to recline some more and throwing his, I think it's a 600 Edelbrock on here. I'm going to go ahead and get it running, get the bowls full, disconnect the fuel line, and get it hooked up to this. And let's go ahead and check that pressure again. We'll do that next. Then I'm going to grab my, you know, we need to look down here. You know, the fuel pump's down here, the fuel filter's down here. It doesn't look horrible, doesn't look great. But I just don't think that's the problem. I don't think the fuel filter's a problem. Fuel delivery into the bowls may be the issue here. So the only other option is to put that electric fuel pump on and run the electric fuel pump at a constant pressure for sure and see if that helps. We'll check that out. Be right back. All right, I got the fuel line disconnected from the carb. I got it run over to the pump or the vacuum gauge. You can see it's at 0. We're going to be reading along these numbers here. Let me go ahead and start. We got to do this quick because we're running off the fuel in the bowl. Let me get this started. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, at idle. Fuel pressure 6. Let's see what happens when we rev it up. I can't hold everything, so let you guys watch it. There we go. Okay, so there we go. We're at about 6 pounds. Doesn't get any more or less. That's where the OEM fuel pressure should be. They say these don't like more than 6.5 pounds, so I'm going to go ahead and hook up. Let me turn this off. So you see what I'm saying about how that holds the pressure? So if I put a T in here between the carb inlet, fuel inlet, and that line, if I put a T in there and hook them both up, when I'm sitting here idling, if I have a fuel pressure drop while I'm driving, I'm not going to know it because it holds that pressure. So that's not going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and get an electric fuel pump set up and let's see what that does. All right, folks, I got this fuel pump hooked up. I disconnected the fuel line down before the fuel pump. That line's right here. It's empty. You guys have seen this before. It's running on other vehicles. I gotta watch the temp here, but sitting here running smooth, no issues. I want to show you also, watch the fuel. That spray looks substantially better than what it did before. We just can't get the secondary to open up sitting here not going to go. It's not going to happen. Well, that spring came off. That's the kick down spring came off. I'll get it back on. Anyway, without it being under load, it's just almost impossible to get those secondaries to open and spray. So we've got to, I'm going to get it all back together, get this kind of tied down better, the fuel pump, and I'm going to take it for a spin. All right, folks. I don't even know what time it is. Let's see. It's 11:36 p.m. Here's the really good news. Hopefully you can see the car behind me. Let me turn around. It ran, and it ran good. I think the whole problem was fuel delivery. The bad news is I'm at Casey's. You know what? Let me show you what's going on. It's just one thing after another. You know, it's testing my motto of never give up. My phone battery's like almost dead. We got nothing. No headlights. No headlights. The ignition is totally dead. I turned it off. It was running fine. I came back out after I pumped the gas. I put in a little power steering fluid. Freaking dead. So anyway, my darling wife, who was happy to hear from me this late, told her I was going for a test drive. She's on the way with tools, so, and there she is. So I'll give you guys an update here shortly on what exactly is going on here. All right, folks, there she is. She's gonna have to spend the night at Casey's. Gabriel came by and we got it pushed out of the way. Got no clue at this point. Thinking neutral safety switch. It's 1:26 a.m. Going home, going to bed. See y'all in the morning. All right, folks, good morning. It is noon. I think the last time you saw me, it was 1:30 in the morning. I'm elated that I think the fuel issue was a fuel pressure issue. I put that cheap little pump on there and difference was night and day. So I get out there to start the vehicle after I put gas in it, and dead. The entire cabin is dead. I checked the fusible link to the firewall. Power is coming into the firewall. Power is coming out of the firewall. I'm suspecting neutral safety switch or starter, because that's all interrelated. What I also found out is if you look up a neutral safety switch for a 68 Chrysler Newport 383, it has the 3-prong neutral safety switch. Well, doing a little research, from like 65 to 68, so somewhere in 68 they changed, it's a 1-prong. Now you can buy the 3-prong one even locally at AutoZone or O'Reilly's for like 20 bucks, but the one I need is like $79.99, and you got to order it special. So hopefully we won't need that. Anyway, just left the house. We're headed, me am headed back to Casey's. I hope the vehicle is still there. And my buddy Hal is coming around. I may give Clyde a call, see if he wants to come play. It's a beautiful day. It's 76 degrees already, and we were supposed to go to the car show this morning. That ain't happening. Obviously it's over. And so anyway, just want to give y'all an update. We'll get back with you when we get there. I got a jack and some stands, and we're gonna break it down and figure out what's going on with it. So see y'all shortly. Well, it's still here. That's good news. We're at good old Casey's. Looks like everything is where it needs to be. We'll let's pop the hood and see if anybody helped themselves any parts last night. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. All right, we're gonna get to work. We'll get this thing figured out. All right, quick update. We got the headlights to work like they're supposed to, and I'll show you all later. We got a combination of things going on. There's a fusible link right here that takes power into the firewall. It was good. We had power coming into the firewall, but we didn't have any power going to the ignition system or to the lights. Now we do. The weird thing is, where's my keys? Let me show you. I had to pull we pulled the ignition out because there was also no, let me get this in there. There was no power coming to the ignition. Let me turn it on. And now you can see the red light here. So that's one issue. Then we couldn't get the starter to kick over, and the starter is currently hanging. Let me turn this off, pull these keys out. So we worked our way back, we pulled off the starter, worked our way back, picked up, what was this starter solenoid, Hal, $5.99? Yeah. Or like $59.99. This is a power window relay in AutoZone's part number 1611 in AutoZone thing. But anyway, now we've got to get under here, and I've got to get that starter put back in. You can see we took it out and bench tested it. It worked fine. It was giving the old solenoid click once we got power to the cabin. So we've got this in. We can get the starter to spin, not just click. So I'm gonna put the starter back in. We're gonna start this thing and get it home. We'll touch base with y'all when we get home. All right, folks, we got her started. I'll go over everything later. Primaries are working good, got good power. When I kick in the forward barrels, it's better. You can hear it wailing. Of course, you know, stock cam, I think there are 292 highway gears in the rear. When I bump it down to second, it'll rock. We're gonna get this beast home. Guess I ought to turn my fan on. Anyway, I'll turn the fan on in a second. We're just about 5 miles from where we were to the house. We're gonna get home, get this thing buttoned up, and I'll come full circle and we'll wrap up this video. Right now we're looking pretty good. All right, folks, we made it back. Not gonna lie to you, I dumped this thing off. Here come the dogs. Anyway, I dumped this thing off and we went and got some lunch, came back, did a little looking at the wiring diagram. Here's the bottom line. I think the problem, I'm 99% sure, the problem, this is a Mopar, it's the ammeter. Up underneath there's a red wire, and nothing we did would work. The dashboard was totally dead. The lights wouldn't come on. The lights should come on this vehicle, even if there's not a key in it, let alone with the ignition on. So I've deduced through checking the starter relay, the solenoid, through checking the starter out. We had that starter out 2 or 3 times checking it. Everything's fine. The fusible link at the bulkhead, this thing, make sure you can see that. This fusible link right here, fusible link, power was good there. The power was good from the bulkhead. No power to the ignition, no power to the fuse box. And I actually remember a video that Junkyard Diggs did on that big orange Dodge truck, that ramp truck that he had, and he was talking about what Dodge had done, bringing the main power supply for the cabin, most of it at least, through that ammeter. And I'm confident that's where the problem is. Now, as far as the carburetor, which was the original issue we were dealing with, and this is just the way it works. Let me get this thing started. Okay, we have resolved most of the bogging. A lot of the bogging has to do with OEM cam, OEM distributor, and I believe it's 292 gears in the rear end. But drives significantly better. We rigged in our temporary fuel pump, solved that problem. Of course, getting gas last night, this whole problem started. So anyway, we're gonna call it a win. It was a painful win, but we didn't give up, and I appreciate my buddy Hal for helping me out. You can see here's the residue of the recovery right here in the Casey's parking lot. So you do what you got to do. So anyway, hey, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. I would appreciate it if you would like and you would share. I'd appreciate your comments, what I can do better, what I need to keep doing right, things of that nature. But we're going to keep plugging along. I want to show you something here real quick, just because I saw this. I want to show you these beautiful, beautiful flowers. I don't even know what they're called. They were here when I moved in many years ago. But I'll tell you what, there's some pretty flowers right there. And just wanted to kind of share that with y'all. So hope you have a blessed day. I hope you be blessed. And you know what? The car just stopped running because I didn't have the fuel pump, electric fuel pump turned on. So be blessed, and we'll see you next time.